Hello, BookTube. Sorry for the long delay. Sorry for the days without videos. Uh, it's been a rough week, but I think the roughness is probably mostly over. So I thought I would hurry back to talk to my imaginary BookTube friends. Not only because we've got business, but also because it makes me feel good. It really does. It's not that when a long feeling week starts to feel like maybe it's getting back under control, that I start to look again at my obligations. It's not that at all. I'm very lucky, actually, considering what the week has been like, that I have almost no obligations like that. I don't go to a 9 to 5 job. I can't imagine. Well, I do. I can imagine in a week like this, I would have simply lost it. But also, the more fungible stuff, the more deadline stuff, almost all the outfits or editors with whom I work, I have worked with forever and ever. So, you know, I know perfectly well that they don't want me to do anything I don't want to do at any time that I don't want to do it. I've done enough miracles for all of them so that I've got credit in the bank. It's not just that. No, it's not that. It's not that I start to unclench and breathe again, and you start to feel your obligations. Uh, it's that I like to do it. It actually is part of feeling better. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make some videos today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. See if I'm out of touch doing this. And I thought we'd start with mail. It's a bright sunny Thursday. I have not noticed the weather at all since Tuesday morning. I have not noticed anything since Tuesday morning. So it feels like a brand new gift wrap day just for me. I have had to rejoin my sparrows, and I got bawled out because I wasn't regularly feeding them. So I feeded them again. I also pointed out to them, I can't talk to sparrows, but I pointed out to them in English for the good that it did me, that there are sparrows in the hedge along the train track. There are sparrows in the shrubbery next to the condo a few blocks away. Whole colonies of them, of sparrows that live there. They don't encroach on your territory, but they also don't get handouts of food. They have to find it on their own, worms or grubs or whatnot. And you're complaining that you're not getting extra. It didn't do me any good. They didn't listen to me. They just yelled at me. And I also had to, of course, check up on the weather, since I am a certified old man who likes to talk about the weather. And I don't believe what I'm seeing. Plain and simple. I have looked at the weather for the upcoming week here in Boston, and I don't believe it. I don't believe that's going to happen. The weather forecast on the Matthew Capucci app that I use is predicting 10 straight days of rain, and I don't believe that's going to happen. But we have some packages. We can open some packages and see what we have here. Thank you, of course, to everybody who emailed and wanted to know where I was and if everything was all right. A great number of you live in outer Mongolia, and you know that, and yet you emailed and said, not only is everything all right, but is there anything I can do? Which is incredibly nice. Of course, there's nothing that you can do. Even if you were here, there'd be nothing that you could do. But the impulse shows me, as I've said repeatedly in the last 3 days, that I have hit upon the right crowd of people here. And that's tremendous. That is a really good feeling. So anyway, let's see what we have here. It's from the folks at Minotaur Books, which is usually good for murder mysteries. So let's see if that's what this is. What have we got here? Look at all this paperwork. Perfectly all right if I'm mentioned in the paperwork, but if I'm not, well, then again, I must be. I absolutely must be. I've reviewed so many Minotaur books in my life that I would have to check, but there's Publishers Weekly here, there's Kirkus here, there's Christian Science Monitor here. There's Open Letters Monthly. I don't have to check on that. That's almost certainly going to be me. Although it would be great if it weren't. It would be great if it were Irma Heldman. I don't think Irma Heldman was our mystery columnist for Open Letters Monthly for 10 years. I actually had the honor of her coming over to Open Letters Review for the last few months of her life. Uh, and I don't think in all that time we ever got Irma a blurb. I don't think we ever did. Let's see. This is for an earlier book. Taylor skillfully switches time periods from 1993 to 2016 in this splendid atmospheric mystery. The Irish setting is so vividly evoked that you can practically hear the dulcet brogue, taste the Guinness, and smell the peat fires. Actually, that does sound like Irma. I'll have to look that one up and see. Oh, there's another open letters. Good Lord. Agony Hill itself is punctuated by oddly random, memorable moments of quiet revelation. It's confident that it doesn't need narrative tricks to keep the reader interested, and that confidence is not misplaced. Well, you can see right away that those two blurbs are by two different people, I would think. Okay, well, anyway, I only need the first page here. I don't need all the rest of this. This is coming out in August, early August. I especially don't want to block the little one there. This is by Sarah Stewart Taylor and is called Hunter's Heart Ridge. And this is a mystery from the author of a book called Agony Hill that did fairly well. That had if I remember correctly, a bright heat-themed version of this same kind of faded photo cover design. The author is known for her critically acclaimed literary police procedurals. And this is the sequel to Agony Hill, in which Detective Frank Warren and his formerly CIA-connected neighbor Alice Bellows return to investigate the death of a federal judge in rural Vermont in the 1960s. It's opening day of deer season in 1965, Vermont, and Detective Warren is hunting in the woods when he gets a call to return to Bethany. By someone sworn out a warrant for his arrest for murder? Oh, that's right. It's not murder if you just wantonly kill people that aren't human. There's been an accident at the Ridge Club, an exclusive men's hunting and fishing club for congressmen, judges, and titans of industry. A federal judge has been murdered, and Warren quickly realizes that many of the club's members are powerful men who may have ulterior motives and suspicious connections in high places. Yeah, okay. All right, maybe I'm reading too much Lou Archer, but if you were a powerful man with ulterior motives and connections in high places, you would not be a suspect if you were at a hunting lodge and a federal judge died, because the last thing you would do is do it yourself, or do it within 100 miles of you. Meanwhile, Warren's neighbor Alice is getting ready for the first big snowstorm of the winter and worrying about her pregnant friend and fellow widow, Sylvie Weber, whose due date is coming up. When her old handler and friend, Arthur Cranach, unexpectedly shows up in Bethany. Bethany must be the name of the town in Maine, or Vermont, rather. Warren and his assistant trooper, Pinky Goodrich, are trapped at the Ridge Club, likely along with the killer, as the snowstorm bears down. The author's historical series combines the intricacy of satisfying mystery with a keen observation of a time and place during great transformation and upheaval. Okay, I wonder if the publicist would send me a copy of Agony Hill. I'll have to check on that. Maybe they would. I have time. Well, anyway, that sounds really good. I just read and reviewed a kind of a plush police procedural like this. Plush in the sense that it's not hard boiled. It's not bourbon for breakfast. It's not just the cops. And also there's that element of women and pregnancy, which was in Such a Good Mom as well. You've got a murder mystery. You've got a death and then two deaths. But the book has so much to do with maternity. And it sounds like it sounds like the snowstorm is going to trap all the suspects, all the law enforcement, and a woman who's about to have her water break. It sounds like that's all going to happen in August. Okay, so I should keep those pub sheets because I'm going to want to know who wrote those blurbs. But this is going to be a $29 hardcover in August. So that we're off to a good start. That's a murder mystery. It's a good start because it's a murder mystery. It's a book that I do want to read. It's a less than good start because I'm not going to review it tonight. I'm not going to read it tonight. And I'm kind of in the mood for a book to read tonight. I have plenty of books to read tonight, but you know what I mean. Okay, what on earth is this? Oh, I threw the envelope away. I don't know if these are commissioned work or not. I guess it'd be an easy way to tell if they are uh, older. Then they might not be. Yeah, these might be commissioned work. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So the first one we have is the incentivization of world peace. I would never use that. It's a good word, but I would never use it in the title of a book. I swear, people don't understand cover design. They don't understand what a title is. The incentivization of world peace: Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and Nuclear War, by Raymond Wilson, PhD. Again, a note to all you authors out there, especially you indie authors. I know it was a lot of work to get it, but don't put PhD after your name. Okay. All right. Don't put PhD after your name. There is only one degree that you should ever put after your name. Only one. Because it directly, at least allegedly, impinges on your authority on your subject matter, and that is MD, not PhD. It's very grasping, so you shouldn't do it. Let's see here. So the back of the book starts with a quote from Franklin Roosevelt. The real truth of the matter is, as you and I know, that a financial element in the large centers has owned the government of the United States since the days of Andrew Jackson. This is not a long book, and that is the cover. I don't know if I showed it to you. I'm trying not to block Frida. There is a considerable reason to believe President Roosevelt's statement is true. Thus, quote, the financial element of the large centers, close quote, shares responsibility and blame for the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of war deaths in the last few decades. The people of the world need protection from those responsible for provoking nations to war. In the United States, this responsibility lies with all elements of the highest level of government, the decision makers. It lies with those who tinker with political and economic machinations, most likely for the advantage of, quote, the financial element in the large centers. These are probably people young enough to sufficiently uninformed to have no conception of the atrocity of nuclear confrontation and conflagrations to which they are quite possibly leading the world. This group of people may include most people serving in the U.S. Congress, and from personal experience, almost everyone in the U.S. military. And in parentheses, the author adds, I received no training about nuclear war while serving in the Army. The author resumes, I have my doubts whether presidents have seen all the results of the world's first nuclear war. They are probably protected from this. Photographs of the victims were confiscated and held confidential for more than 22 years after 1945. There were well more than 210,000 victims. Not many photographs were made and survived. You can see in this book a tiny fraction of the truth about what happens when people are caught in nuclear war. And the cover actually has a warning that you're going to see those pictures. Wow, it sounds like the author has an argument. The author is emeritus professor of physics at Illinois Wesleyan University. And it sounds like he has like this has a bite to it. That sounds very good. I disagree with a contention on the back completely. It's pointless to do in this age of we salute our troops, in the previous age of those obnoxious yellow ribbons that were everywhere. It's pointless to do. But when the back cover here says that those financial elements in large centers share responsibility and blame for the thousands of war deaths in the last few decades, no. No. They can want it. Can't throw someone in jail for wanting something. They can be indifferent to it. Can't arrest someone for being indifferent to it. The only people who are to blame are the people who do it. And I don't know of any special absolution that says that someone in the military, someone had to do it, and someone could have chosen not to. And if all the people who were in a position to do it had chosen not to, it wouldn't have happened. Because I guarantee you the people who ordered it would not do it. But we'll see. Maybe the author and I will end up agreeing. I'm not going to open this on camera, that's for sure. So that's one of the things that was in that package. And now the other one is by Jim Story. It's a pretty good name for an author. And this is Professor Fairweather Hits the Skids, a novel in stories. And this must be a new release because it's only in mid-2024 and now ubiquitously in 2025 that we have this obnoxious habit of the book preceding the plot in the title. So and so is coming to pieces. So and so is all right, really. So and so hits the skids. Sooner it dies, the better. Yeah, 2025. Okay, so what have we got here? Okay, all right, but I mean, this is self-published, and at the top of the back are those four words: compelling, poignant, droll, hilarious. Notice no asterisk, no attribution, just four adjectives with exclamation points, or not even exclamation points. Okay, so did you put those there? Jim's story? Did you put those there? Uh, Anyway, Robert Fairweather, associate professor of Russian history, finds himself promoted, then summarily ejected from Brooklyn Quintessential University in New York City, where he has served for many years. Quietly assured he will easily find another university position equally rewarding, he discovers at last that is not the case. For it is the 1970s, and the academic market, especially in Robert's field, has hit rock bottom with a jolt. Thus, Professor Fairweather, virtually penniless, must scramble as fast as he's able to find a suitable occupation, or even an unsuitable one, perhaps even a job he'd never remotely dreamed of. Follow Robert in his often hilarious struggle to keep body and soul together in the troubled economy of New York City in the early 1970s. I am sold already. This sounds wonderful. When even the President of the United States, according to the Daily News headline, had told the city, drop dead. Some of you will not be old enough to have any idea what Jim's story is referring to in there. He's self-published, so I'm assuming he wrote the copy himself. Some of you are too young to know what he's referring to. There was a contretemps, and President Ford, Gerald Ford, got involved and said no. Basically said no to a demand that was put on his desk. And the Daily News had the headline, Ford to City, drop dead. Ford never said that, not even in private. But that was one of the greatest newspaper headlines of all time. And I don't know if you were watching the Saturday Night Live, the recent Saturday Night Live mega anniversary special. It wasn't all that funny, so you would have been excused for not watching it. But at one point, they did something genuinely funny. I think they've done it before, but I've never noticed it before. At one point during the show, a banner shows when the cast is all together and crowded and everybody's laughing in the studio. A banner is shown saying, City to Ford, who's dead now? Yoicks. All right, so a novel in stories. I don't like novels that tell you about their wacky plot in their title. And I also don't like novels and stories. I mean, honestly, quit being so incredibly Protestant. Pick a lane. But I'll take it. Either way, I'll take it because it sounds really good. And then we have this last one. This last package is something big, whatever it is. Got something in here that will identify it. Oh no, it's an invoice. Gross. Oh, fantastic. Oh boy, I love how this author writes long books. I really do. Do you tell me how old? Yeah, this is 650 pages. This is the new Lindley novel from Elizabeth George. This is A Slowly Dying Cause. This wonderful, evocative country lane cover. How wonderful. Look at the size of this thing. So this comes out in September, at the end of September. This Detective Sergeant Barbara Havers and Detective Inspector Thomas Lindley. So would you put their names in that order then? Anyway, are back in this new novel. I have read all the Lindley novels. I honestly think that in some ways I know it's a trite thing, but I honestly think in some ways they do get better as the series goes along. Believing a Lie is incredibly good, for instance, and it's even bigger than this. I'm trying to remember what the last one was, and I'm being messed up with remembering that because Britta Bowler is reading through the Lindley novels in publication order, and that's the last mention of it's on my mind. That's going to throw off my chronological listing there. Michael Laub has just been found dead on the floor of his family's tin and pewter workshop. It's suspicious enough that his body was found by a representative of Cornwall Eco Mining, a company keen on acquiring his family's land. And it's made even worse when he's revealed to have been the majority owner of the business and the sole obstacle preventing a deal from being made. But again, as with the executive hunting lodge, if you represented eco mining, you wouldn't go to the guy's house and kill him for being the sole objection to a merger or sale. Maybe you would. Maybe in 2025 even murders are dumb. Maybe that's true. You're still a mile away, but you're headed my way. Let's see if we can get this done before you get here. But it doesn't take long for Inspector Beatrice Hannaford to unearth the layers of estrangement that surround Michael in his final days, pointing suspicion elsewhere. But yes, okay, suspicion would go elsewhere. In comes Kyla, a young woman half Michael's age, who has just been made his widow. Okay, so who is Beatrice Hannaford? That name rings a bell. Detective Inspector Thomas Lindley and Detective Sergeant Barbara Havers, there you go, are brought in to help solve a crime and search for justice amid a community that already trusts no one and fears outsiders. Okay. Fantastic. Well, this doesn't come out until late September. The two murder mysteries that I want to read right away, and they don't come out. I can't justify reading either one of these things now. They're too far away, and there's way too much to read. It's kind of ironic that the thing that is probably the things that are closest to me to read are the things that either annoy me or will horrify me. Boy, I'm tempted to read this anyway, though. It's a chunk of reading time. Well, anyway, now you know there's a new Lindley novel coming out. I'm curious to know, of course I'm curious to know now that I'm back and talking to my imaginary booktube friends, how many people listening to me have read all the Lindley novels? Do I have any Lindley fans? This series has been going on forever. And they're all really good. They're all very textured. Just a series to praise. I mean, we've lost some major hitter murder mystery series in the last few years, so it's good that one is continuing. So there you go. That is the mail. That is the mail on a Thursday, the 1st of May. So I'm gonna try to. This didn't go all that bad. I'm gonna try to make a couple more videos just to get back in the swing of things. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.